Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning for our presentation. Let's wait maybe one more minute to...
Time is counting.
Okay, time is counting, so we have to start. Before we start the presentation, we need to know a bit more about you. Who's actually having his own website or is responsible for the website of his employer, of his company? Please stand up if you have one. Okay, that works as well. So, how many of you are working on this website every month? If not, just keep your hands down. Okay, there's still a lot. Okay, and how many of them are working on this website, more often?
Like every week.
Like every week? Okay, still a lot. So, but Sharon, looks like we have still a problem here. There are people having a website and doesn't work frequently on them to update the website.
Well, don't be too hard on them, because that's why we're here, right? We want to help them to do better and be more successful online. Oh, this is loud. So, this is not working.
Oh, the clicker doesn't work.
No.
Small technical problem.
Yes, now it works. This is us. I'm Sharon, and this is Olaf. And it might not surprise you, but we're not from Thessaloniki. We're from the Netherlands. And besides being involved in the WordPress community, we are helping our customers with all kinds of things. Creating web shops, websites, SEO, content optimization. Am I forgetting something?
Yes, you do. We do also this technical stuff, like web hosting, domain names, SSL certificates. Just everything our customers need to be online successful.
Yes, and the first thing we teach them is...
That was too fast.
That a website is never finished, because there's no such thing as a perfect website. And you might think, that's silly, why not? Because your products or services might change, your competition grows, or new competitors enter the market, which means you have to work even harder to be number one. Or the environment changes. For example, more old people are using the web now, and they might not be as skilled as millennials. Legal changes happen. Every European country has to deal with the GDPR. You might as well. And of course, the web innovates, which a good example of that is the mobile revolution. More and more people are using the web now on their devices, their mobile devices, and are visiting your website on their phone.
It doesn't click so well.
No. The clicker is not working very well.
Okay, now we know that you have to still keep working with on your website. It's important to know if you should modify your current website or that you just need a new website. So what you have to do, it depends on different things. So if your current website is flexible enough to make bigger changes and has also all the functionality you need to use the next year, for example, and how about your current website in Google? If you have a lot of great results in Google, you never want to lose them. So be careful while everything what you change on your website. And the last thing is your website still looks good and is it from this time. If your website is from the previous century, maybe you should do one thing, that is run. I take the manual.
No.
Okay. Who have ever heard about WOC? Okay.
No one.
No one. Okay. Don't Google it because you won't find anything that's important. We came up with WOC to find a way that you can continuously work on your website with a structure. That's very important. And WOC stands for Website Optimization Circle. So the circle exists from 5 important parts, like strategy, creation, visibility, evaluation, and optimization. Every phase is important for your continuously website process. So it will not say that you have to work from phase 1 to phase 5. Just work on the phase which matters for your website currently, and do it right and do it structured.
Yes, and during the rest of this presentation, we will explain every phase, and we create an example for every phase that is for our imaginary company, FW Coaching. So let's start with the first phase, strategy. When we talk about this phase, we're not talking about creating a complete online strategy for your company. It's more like an answer to the assumption that just having a website is enough to be successful online. Well, I have to tell you something, it's not. So there are two things you need to do. The first thing, we already told you, you have to continuously improve your website. And the second thing is that everything you do, you shouldn't do it without a plan, which means that for everything you do, you have to have some type of strategy. Here you see some examples of things you make strategic decisions about. For example, email marketing, your brand message, or the trustworthiness of your website. Because we only have 30 minutes, we will now only dive deeper into choosing a unique selling point for your company. And that's not easy, choosing the right USP. And therefore, we will start with some tips for you. And the first one is that always start simple. Ask your employees, customers, or friends what they like about you or your company. The second, and it might, people often forget it, is that you have to sell value. Not only your product or your service. It means that you find the problem that your customer is having that you can solve, or you should always communicate why your product is making your customer's life even better. For example, imagine that you are a company that is renting office spaces. Your unique selling point could be that it is open for 24/7 a day. And that's also the final tip, is that you should also think about the uniqueness of your unique selling point. Because what if your competition is doing the same? Then that's what you always have to check. For example, you should start thinking about if everyone is offering free shipment, is it a unique selling point, or is it actually a requirement? Let's start with the first example. Click. For our own company, we use the second tip to find the problem of your customer, which is for us young people that want to be managers someday, and they have one problem. They're usually not very secure about themselves or what they can do. And maybe they're also not looking forward to get feedback from those old know-it-alls. We all know them. Maybe you're one of them. And what we offered as a unique selling point is that when they also get into our coaching program, they can also enter a special club for young professionals to learn from them, to chat with them, and to get feedback from them. And then we arrive to the second phase, which is creating. And that doesn't mean that you should create content about your company, you or your services, but you should create content that is engaging, valuable, and relevant for your customer. And how? Now you might ask. Click. You should create content that makes a combination of these two: the problem of your customer, the solution that your company has to offer, and the solutions of your niche. That right there is your gold star, and you should use it. To make that more clear, we of course have an example. Oh yeah, the trampoline company. A trampoline company can create content about trampolines they sell, but they can also create content about trampoline safety, tips and tricks, or cool trampoline parks in the country. And before I continue with the tips, I want to ask you, who is already creating content for their company? Can I see some hands? A few of you. And who is really happy with the results they're getting? Less people. Well, it might be a reason that you're not starting with researching your competitors. So how can you be the best if you have no idea what other people are doing? So what I would suggest is before you start creating content, you always check the first 10 results in Google. What they're doing and how can you be better? Second, and it might be very difficult for you, but don't be afraid to share your secrets or dive really deep into a specific topic. It's okay to create content that is 2,000 or even 5,000 words. Google loves it, and if you structure your content the right way, it won't be a problem for your customer to find the information they're looking for. And 3, the best content is content that is relevant for a long period of time, which means that you shouldn't create or put too much effort into creating news items. They are interesting, but they always also have a high expiration date. So background information should also be updated from time to time, but it won't expire as quickly as news. So go for those long reads that offer value for a long time. Oh yeah, the example. Great. We found some keywords, and we created some interesting ideas for a potential blog post for our coaching company. And when you look at the second keyword, leadership styles, and the matching topic idea, 10 different leadership styles and how to use them, it's a mix of our 3 ingredients. It's something relevant and useful for our potential customer. It matches with the knowledge we have to share and the products that we sell, business coaching programs, and it's also in line with our niche, leadership, coaching, etc. So it is our gold star, and the same counts for the other 2 keyword ideas.
The next phase is visibility. If people think about visibility, they think always about if we have a lot of followers. For example, you have 300,000 followers and no one of them is, or only a few of them, are doing something. So there's no engagement. Or think about if your website has 1,000 visitors a day, which is a lot for many companies, but there is no second action there, or even a high bounce rate. So this doesn't work very well for you. So what you need is while there are different opportunities, so what many people forget is to combine offline and online promotions. So we recently created for a customer a gift card, which is not sent by email, but we send it by regular mail together with some recipes and some photos, because they sell online meat. So if you get this gift card and you get it, for example, for a birthday, it's because of the recipes are included, it's more engaging for the company, for the people are there, than just the gift card, because the recipe is interesting and the photos are even more interesting. So people just talk more about your company, about your brand, and about the product than just for a gift card, which you put away for the next time if you have some orders. Another thing you can do is give away free samples. This works actually in two ways. So if you put in an interesting sample for your clients, they think the overall buying experience is great, so they will buy again for sure. And the second thing is, if the sample fits to your needs, they might even buy earlier than normally. For example, if you get a sample for some perfume, and this new perfume is great, so maybe you buy this even more and not just the next time you bought it before.
Tip 3.
Oh, sorry, I forgot the 3. Lead people back to your website all the time. You can do this with, for example, putting a card into the box if you ship something to your customers. Use a handwritten card that is more special and more unique than just an email where you ask for a review, for example. So this might drive people back to your website if you include a good message. Okay, let's go to an example for our imaginary company, FW Coaching. We used on the business cards a simple question. Do you know the most important skills of a manager? The answer might surprise you. Visit FW Coaching, the website. So that we suggest there might be some surprise. So that might even enough trigger that people go back to your website. So that means it attracts offline interest and leads people back to the website online.
Then we have the first phase, which is evaluation, and it's as important as the first 3 phases. Because if you don't test something, you don't know what works, and if you're doing something right. And over the years, we have seen many websites that were doing great, they were having visitors, but they were not having enough conversions. Imagine those great blog posts you're creating, and it contains a lot of great content, but no one is conforming to your second step, your call to action. Annoying, right? So, a solution might be, and often people think, is that they need to start A/B testing. And you actually need a lot of visitors to start with A/B testing, and also a lot of time to gather the data. So at a specific point in time, for many companies, A/B testing might not work yet. So there are other sources you could use. You see them here, and it might surprise you how much information you get from the reviews that people write about your competitors. You not get only to learn a lot about your competitors and what they're doing right and wrong, but you also will find out, by the good reviews people are writing, why people are choosing your competitor instead of your company. So you can learn from that. Then you should also measure all kinds of conversions. For a web shop, that's easy, with the products they look at, where they sign up when it's not available anymore. But as a service-based company, there are also a lot of conversions that you can track. For example, how many people submit a form, or the number of sign-ups for your mailing list. And 3, learn from other websites. We have a nice saying in Dutch, which is, beter goed gejat dan slecht bedacht. Which means that it's better to steal from other people than do things the wrong way. And that means that you should analyze the website of your competitor, for example, the checkout phase, or analyze how they are using their customer journey in an optimal way. I'm not saying that you should steal your competitor's USP, brand experience, or great content. It won't help you. So, we have an example. And here you can see a landing page for our leadership coaching program. And what people can do is fill in a form, leave their address, and we will call them for more information about our coaching program. Well, it won't come as a surprise that not many people are doing this. It's a very big step to leave your information to be called. So what could we do? We could add an extra step to create commitment by giving away something for free. Not only with this new USP, where we give away something for free, a nice tips and trick list for people that want to become a successful leader. So we're not only pulling people into our funnel, we are also using something called reciprocity, where we give away something for free and people have the idea that they owe us something. So in the future, they will come to us when they need coaching programs instead of the competitors that didn't offer something for free. So, 4 down, 1 to go. Olaf?
Optimization.
The billboards.
Oh, okay, yeah. Optimization. Does someone know more bananas means more monkeys? It's from a book I read years ago. So that means if you offer a lot of opt-ins or conversion elements on your website, it might doesn't help for more sales or leads. We'll say at the moment that you offer too many of them, it results in stress for the visitor, or even that they're leaving his website too soon. So it would be better to have not so much billboards, because they might hide the important information from your website. So we have different things we can optimize on the website. We go for content optimization in the next slides. And here's my question. Who is using Google Search Console frequently? Okay, a lot of them. We do many of them. But we are also using Google Search Console to optimize the content. So that will say that we use the information to optimize the rankings. So if you have pages with a lot of impressions but a low CTR, so not enough clicks, the first thing you do is you improve the page title and even the meta description to get more clicks. So that will help for sure. And next, if you have pages which ranks on the second page in Google for important keywords, improve them a bit more, that they get on the first page. That sounds easy, but it's not always. So if it doesn't help, just create more pages about the same subject, and don't forget to link them to improve or to link to the initial page what you are actually working on. And last, the third tip is check from time to time which pages doesn't have enough clicks or enough visits, but still a high page impressions in Google, but not enough clicks. So it might be here that the search intent doesn't match with your content or with the page you are working on. So we explained it in example for our imaginary company. Women in leadership. 10 tips for active leadership. So women in leadership is, in this case, the keyword we are working on. So we get a lot of impressions, but not enough clicks. So it might be the problem that the search intent is not a fit for the article we write about. So the tips are not what people are looking for. So what might it be? It might be just about women in leadership. So that's what we're actually looking for. But it might also the search intent for job positions, or how to get women into leadership positions. And I forgot the fourth one.
Great women in leadership roles, why
Yes.
women are great leaders.
Thank you, Sharon. So, please give the next version. So, what we did in our improvement is to add more content. For example, 10 names from real good women in leadership positions, and giving advice, just like before the 10 tips. So we mixed up the content, and it fits for even more people looking for this kind of information.
So in the last 20 minutes, we explained all different phases of the website optimization circle for you. And we also already highlighted the 5 things that you could do. And like our examples, you can also start with these 5 things tonight or tomorrow. And you can start with finding your own unique selling point and communicate it on your website. For example, what we did with the special club for a coaching company.
Okay, or you create a piece of content that really helps your customers. So start with a new blog post about a subject which answer a question, helps your customers and not just you.
And then came up with the creative idea to convince people you meet online and convince them to visit your website, like the business card we created with an interesting question.
Or locate a page with low conversion rate and actually changes conversion element to a soft conversion. We'll say if we used before some kind of call me back form, and we replaced it with a download for an ebook, and you get only the email address, but you get more conversions.
And finally, find a page with a good ranking, but a low CTR, and use the visitor search intent to improve this page. We just told you that for our woman in leadership keyword, there could even be 5 different search intents. And then I bet that there's a situation for you, a keyword, that is the same, that you could improve.
And last but not least, everything you do for your website should lead to more happy visitors, less abandonment, and more conversions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Έχουμε ερωτήσεις στα αγγλικά ή στα ελληνικά, όποια γλώσσα θέλετε, και θα μεταφράσω αν χρειαστεί. Το μικρόφωνο εδώ χαμηλά.
We can't answer Greek questions.
There's the runner.
Έχω πάρει εγώ το ένα από τα φορητά, γι' αυτό καθυστερούμε. Sorry.
Hello, good morning. I want to ask, what about people that have a website but they don't sell a product? They, write blogs. They are a new site, let's say, and they want to attract more people. How would they do that?
Well, you're still selling a problem because there is a question and you have an answer to that. So even like the smallest things, for example, you're like a travel blogger, the problem of the customer is that they want to go on a vacation, but they don't know where. Or you have a food blog with all kinds of recipes, the problem is they don't need to know what to cook. So you have a solution. So I think all types of different websites, they all have to deal with problems from their customer and the questions that they have. Does that answer your question?
Εκεί πάνω ένας φίλος.
Good morning, hello.
Morning.
So my question is, let's assume that I have a website with some keywords, and there are 100 more of websites exactly like mine with the same keywords. How do I compete with them?
Oh, I take this one. Okay, the question is, how do you compete in Google if your website has also 100 competitors? The question is actually very easy. Be better. That's an easy question, easy answer, but if you create content which has even 10 or 20% more information, it's even better. It might compete with the other 100. This might not happen in a few weeks, but if you do so with all the other content, you will reach your target, I'm sure. Even if you do this in a small country as Greece. If you work on English international websites, this might be even more difficult.
Yes, and when you look at all your competitors, chances are high that they're all doing the same thing. So it's your job to find a way to do things differently. That's your secret. But I understand it can be hard to find for, especially for some niches and companies. For others, it might be more easy.
Yeah, just a second. There's a...
Yeah, hi. I would like to ask if you know or if you have any statistics about what's the frequency of someone who uses, let's say, email marketing or sending some emails on people that they have been written on their newsletter in order not to be annoying. Because after some time that you send, let's say, twice per week or something like that, maybe you have plenty of people that would like to stop receiving emails.
If I'm understanding your questions right, you are saying how long you should continue with using our circle?
Not how long, but how many times, let's say, during a week or a month, if you have any statistics on that.
Let me continue. I think it depends on the information you have. If your information is actual, and relevant enough for all your subscribers, you can even send them every day. I know from Yoast, the WordPress SEO plugin, they send you an email every day. That might be too often because I know about SEO, so that means for me it's too often, but for many others here in the audience, it might be okay to get this email every day. So it depends on your information. And it should be go together with the publications of new content on your website as well. So because if the newsletter should send back the websites, people to the website, and if they came there and there's always the same content over the whole week, they wouldn't get back again. So it depends on the content and what you can tell, and maybe even the list. Yeah. If you like to optimize that, just try to split up your bigger list into small sections and create content for the different sections, which is more relevant for the people.
Yes, there's no such thing like a golden rule for every country that should be followed. So when you have an idea that you're creating too much content and people are running away, you should maybe like create less. So it's...
There's one thing what I have seen, this is not so easy to do with WordPress, but you can also ask the question on unsubscribe. If people unsubscribe, would you like to get less often our newsletters? Just put them in a flow from one newsletter a month, for example. That keeps the people in the list, but solves the problem for the short time.
Μπορούμε λίγο, επειδή είναι ένα follow-up στην ίδια ερώτηση και στην ίδια απάντηση. Συγγνώμη.
Hello, thank you very much.
We have enough time.
I would just like to say that there is the opportunity in some newsletters to choose how often you want to receive the newsletter, daily or weekly, monthly, whatever.
The best way is to...
It's about the same question that was asked. In some newsletters, when you subscribe, you have the option to choose how often you will receive the newsletters.
What we personally think, how often you should send them?
I mean, you can make a marketing campaign, sorry, depending on the choice of the subscriber. You can have different ones. You can have a campaign for people who want to listen to read weekly from you, or for people who want to read daily or whatever.
If I understand correctly.
I think it's not easy to get an answer on this because it depends on what's also your target. So if you get a new subscriber and you want to put him into a funnel so that he is able to buy a product over 6 weeks, so you have to maybe get a lot of automatic campaigns to reach a target. But some people, they will unsubscribe directly if they get the first email, but you can't control this. So if you have this huge number of unsubscriptions, just get more subscribers. Maybe this is the answer. And filter them in different sections so that they get only the relevant content and not all the other stuff.
Yes, or give them the option that they can decide themselves if they want to receive a weekly newsletter, daily, monthly. Just give them options.
Okay, my name is Angelos Topalidis. I'm from Greece. I'm a Greek man. Why to build my own niche website when in the same time I can cooperate with the leading e-commerce site Alibaba.com or the Amazon Associates program?
I'm not sure that I understand you fully. So your question is about how to have your website and your e-commerce website together?
To build my own niche website.
Yeah.
When at the same time, simultaneously, I can cooperate with the leading e-commerce site Alibaba.com.
Yeah.
Or
you have to compete with. So you have to compete with Amazon websites, or you have them both.
I don't want to compete with Amazon. I can participate and I can do my own job.
Yes.
Cooperating with Alibaba e-commerce site.
Yeah. So the question is, why should I use my own website when I can have it all at Amazon? Yeah, I think that's the same for people asking, should I use my own platform, my own hosted WooCommerce website, or just using something like you can buy in the cloud? It's the freedom for customizations, for measuring everything, and it's from your own. So just in case you are on Alibaba or Amazon, I'm not sure if it happens, but they cut you off. They say, oh, you have great sales, but we do it by ourselves. Amazon is doing this. So they cut you off, so you're out of business. If you have your own website, you have the disadvantage that you're not on this great platform, but you have the freedom to go further. And my advice would be, if you think you can make sales on Amazon, do it both.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, thanks.
And Alibaba is, of course, the most terrible e-commerce platform you can imagine. So you need a second website to get fined, because people even don't find you on Alibaba.com.
Yes, right. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
I would like to ask, let's say I have a website and it's very user-friendly. How can I get people to actually look for me in case that they're not actually looking for the field I have built my website on? Like, okay, if someone wants to shop clothes and I have an e-shop with clothes, it's easy for me to build a strategy. But if I have a website that it's not on a topic that people search for, how can I make people find me?
Tell something about.
So, are you selling clothes, or are you selling something else?
I'm helping with a blogging site, but people here in the city are not looking for blogging sites, for articles. So how can I make my site more appealing? How can I make people find me, look for me?
I have an example of that, because we're helping a company that is creating like those amazing walls for company with big prints on it. And they are also doing like some other interior decoration kind of stuff. But it's very hard to say what people are actually looking for when they actually want their products. It might even be that they don't know that they want the services of that product. So what we're doing for that company is we're creating all kinds of content that is in relation to what they're selling. For example, we created a piece of content that is about creating a good environment for office spaces. I even wrote something about plants, just because those are the kinds of information that people are looking for on a daily basis. You can see that in like a keyword analyzing tool. But it might also be in the future that they're looking for a new interior for their office space. So you really have to dive deep into the potential problems that are also opportunities for you in that niche. So that gold star that I was saying, you really have to be creative. Like, you know your problem, you might know you know your solution, you might know the problem, some sort of your customer, but the niche, that is where you start searching.
Thank you.
Yes, good luck with that.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ, αλλά λίγο πριν αφήσουμε... μου δείχνεις κάτι. Ας πάρουμε άλλη μια ερώτηση, την τελευταία.
Is that the last question?
This is the last question.
Okay.
Hello. Hello. After discussing that with a lot of people, I found out that there are two opinions on the subject that I'm going to say. Is that when you try to advertise something that you sell, there are a lot of people telling me that you have to directly advertise, let's say, selling shoes. And there are some people also saying that you have to advertise, let's say, solutions to similar problems, like when your foot is aching or when you have problems walking or running, etc. So what I'm trying to ask is that should we advertise by email or on Google or on Facebook, etc., the solutions to the problems that people might have, or the actual product that we're selling to them? Do you understand the difference?
I think your visitors are looking for problems in Google. Yes, that should be your natural search, not the paid search. And if you have specific keywords which sell, so you can categorize your keywords. You can categorize your keywords into information, into products, into Q&A, whatever. So, and you have to serve the right page for the right keyword. So if people search for a product name, show them a product page. If they search for a problem, for an answer, try to get your blog post in the picture. That would mean you have one side for your products and also for the information. So don't separate them.
Yes, and to add something, it's even beneficial for your company to like the content that is for the problems and the solutions that you offer. The chances are higher that you rank high, so you don't need to pay for the paid positions because there's less competition. If you have like the product name, there are like 10 competitors at least for that name, but chances are low that they are creating content for that problem and solution content. They usually only have the shoes on their website.
Well, what I found out from my customers is that the bigger companies, they just advertise directly the products they sell, and the smaller ones are first trying to answer questions to problems that their customers might have, and secondly, let's say, indirectly point them to the products they sell.
That's because bigger companies have a bigger budget, of course, and often these other companies, they have returning sales. So that means if you get a new customer today, the chance is big that he will buy again 5 times a year again of the next period. And smaller companies have the same situation, but they don't have the budget to compete with these bigger companies. So you have to find maybe the long-term search keywords, or you have to mix it up so that actually if you get a sale or a click for a high price because you have to compete with a bigger competition. So if you combine any traffic to each other, so you have to look for this price. So if you say, okay, to buy one product, I have to invest 10 euros, for example. You mix it up with your email, with your natural search, with Google Ads, maybe Facebook, whatever you use. That's only the thing, and if this doesn't work because you don't have the margin or the price you have to pay for each sale is too high, maybe it doesn't have a chance.
And before I leave you all to go meet Sharon and Olaf at WP Cafe, let me give you a small token of our appreciation for coming here and speaking to us.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
So, thank you.
Ooh.